For more insight, let's turn to retired ICE Director and Fox News contributor Tom Homan. Tom, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Let's take a look at recent numbers. 2021 border encounters. Border Patrol averaged about 3,000 border arrests per day in January 2021. Encounters at the border up 114% from the same time a year ago, the highest amount since July 2019. Tom, how do you assess those numbers?
Well, you know, I wrote an op-ed for Fox News 7 months ago, and I said if Joe Biden became president, we would lose the border. And it's happening. The surge is already there. Now, you mentioned those numbers, but the truth is it's almost 4,000 crossings a day because Border Patrol isn't adding the gotaways. There's a way they count footprints in the sand and vehicle stop. So it's about 4,000 a day. Now, you times that by a month, that's 120,000 a month, which is 1.4 million a year. And that's with Title 42 still in place for single adults. Once Mexico stops adhering to Title 42, the numbers are going to be astronomical. And we knew this would happen because all the promises Joe Biden has made, and he continues to make. So this isn't by accident. This is by design. This is an open border strategy. He has bowed to the left. We lose the border.
Let's put on the screen from the acting ICE director's memo, Tay Johnson, quote, "Generally, these convictions would not include drug-based crimes, less serious offenses, simple assault, DUI, money laundering, property crimes, fraud, tax crimes, solicitation, or charges without convictions." Tom, how do you respond?
ICE has lost 95% of their criminal targets they arrest every year. Criminal targets, people convicted of crimes, 95% of them are off the table. Now, the Biden administration says public safety is still important. Well, obviously not, because DUI is a public safety issue.
Right.
Over 10,000 people a year died in DUIs. And if Joe Biden ever sat down and talked to an angel mom or angel dad, that I've met hundreds of them, whose children were killed by someone here illegally over a DUI, they've lost their children. And look, this isn't about public safety at all, because he says sex offenders are still a priority, but he hasn't done a thing about sanctuary cities. So sanctuary cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Boston, I can go on and on, Seattle, they're not going to honor ICE detainers, whether a sexual predator or not. So this meaningless, it's disingenuous to say sexual offenders are still a priority. But you know what? We're not going to let these big cities, change the way they conduct business with ICE. And how they conduct business with ICE, they don't accept their detainers. So this is disingenuous. This is a false narrative to the American people.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis expressed these concerns this morning. Take a listen.
Of course they're not being screened for COVID at the southern border, because this is all political. So he's opening the border. He's letting illegals pour in. They're not doing any COVID tests. They're just coming into the communities.
What about the border issue as it relates to this pandemic we're still dealing with?
Well, great quote. He's exactly right. Thousands of family units have been released into the United States over the past few weeks. No COVID test. And they're being released into American communities with no COVID test. And on top of that, as soon as they get to their destination, they qualify for a work visa. They're going to be competing for the same jobs that unemployed Americans are competing for now, because the unemployment rates are at its extreme high. So, the Biden administration says we're concerned about, COVID. We want federal mandates on masks, and we're shutting down schools. At the same time, thousands are coming across the border with no COVID test, no mask, being released in the U.S. to compete for the same U.S. jobs that many of our middle-class workers are going to be competing for. It's a switch on the American people. They don't care about employment of Americans. They don't care about COVID, or they will take action on the border to protect Americans.
Tom Homan, thank you so much for your time and your analysis, sir.